Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Sorry that I didn't do this next video sooner. My laptop was messing up a bit. I'm returning to you finally for part 2 of the Tuesday album review season 3 episode, well, not episode, recap video part 2, I should say. Um, should have said, of course, which I'm going to continue where I left off on this list. I think it's episode 9 I'm on now that I'm going to talk about and let you know what I think of these next albums that I'm going to be talking about. So let's start with episode 9, which is Justin Bieber Journals. Now, this album was decent. I don't know if it was my personal favorite album. It was actually a compilation album. But I wanted to review this just to see how it would do. I was originally going to give it a 6.5 out of 10, but Confident was one of my favorites. What's Happening was not really good. Roller Coaster was pretty fine. All That Matters was alright, but nothing perfect. It just felt low and lazy. Change Me was good. I quite enjoyed that one. And there were some other ones. Backpack featuring Lil Wayne was not a bad song, but not my personal favorite. So at episode 9, I meant to say, is for Justin Bieber Journals. At episode 10 that I'm going to talk about is Kesha Animal. This one was it was okay. There were some songs I wasn't really liking, but it's mostly the Blah 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 song with 303. I just didn't like that song that much. It was a little disappointing, unfortunately. And Kesha, Your Love Is My Drug was probably my favorite song. Well, it was not a bad song, but it was the most favorable on this album. There were some weird moments in the track that I wasn't sure if I liked. TikTok was decent. Take It Off was decent too. Steven was decent. Kiss and Tell was fine. Party at a Rich Dude's House was kind of funny. Dinosaur, I actually found the beat to be annoyingly catchy, but it was an average track. It kind of was a funny track, honestly. So she made it a little funny, that song. So, Boots and Boys was VIP was average. But, yeah, some of these titles are kind of funny. Backstabber, oh, I can relate to that somewhat. But still, the album was okay. It wasn't perfect, but it was okay. So I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So episode 10 I did was for Kesha Animal. Episode 11 that I did was for Rise Against Appeal to Reason. Now this was a really good album, I should say. I'm just looking to see where I wrote it. Here we go. Yeah, this was actually a very good album. I gave it a very good score of a 9.5 out of 10. The first track was great. Long Forgotten Sons I enjoyed. Re-Education Through Labor was good. I think the only song... sorry for my yawning. I'm just a little tired, honestly. The only song was Hero of War that I thought... The acoustic guitar was fine. It's just the way Tim's singing the song. Just... I don't know if I was feeling for it. Honestly, it wasn't my personal favorite song, but I get the message behind it, so yeah. Savior was a good track. Hairline Fracture was very good. Whereabouts Unknown was awesome. Audience of One I really enjoyed. The Dirt Whispered, Code of Syndrome was very good. There was a lot of bangers on this album. Appeal to Reason was one of their best albums of 2008. So, of fourth quarter of 2008, I believe. So, in episode 11, I reviewed Rise Against Appeal to Reason. It was a really good album, honestly. Next album I reviewed was for Kings of Leon, which is for Only by the Night. This album was pretty good. This was probably the last album I found to be pretty good. Then their later discography can get meh. Come Around Sundown. Oh, sorry for my yawning in this video. I gotta go to bed pretty soon. So I gotta do this part and then do another part and then I'm gonna crash after that. But yeah, Only by the Night was good. I will review Come Around Sundown in the next Tuesday album review season, so you'll see it then. Use Somebody was really good. Crawl, it was a fine song. Not my personal favorite. Revelry was fine. Be Somebody was fine. But the rest of the album did pretty well for what it went for. So, I enjoyed Notion. That was my personal favorite song on the album. Sex on Fire was a very good one. Closer was a great opening track to the album. The that noise in the beginning of the song, the melody thing or whatever it's doing, the electronic melody sounds really good. So that was a really good opening track. So episode 12 I did was for Kings of Leon, Only by the Night. Episode 13 I did was for Seether, Isolate, and Medicate. Now this album had its moments where it was good, and then moments where it was... sorry, I'm scrolling through where I wrote it down at. And I wrote it down somewhere. I'm just trying... Here we go. Yeah, it was a good album. It just... had its moments of good and bad. See You at the Bottom was a good opening track. Same Damn Life was... it was fine. Watch Me Drown was fine. Turn Around was alright. Goodbye Tonight was not a bad song, so there were a few songs I wasn't sure if I was gonna like, but everything else about it, I think 11 or 10 out of 14 tracks. Ugh. Please forgive me on my yawning. I'm just, a little tired. 10 out of 14 tracks were really good, so, yeah. Episode 13 I did was for Seether, Isolate, and Medicate. Episode 14 I did was for Disturbed Asylum. Now, this one I had my doubts about because the second half of the album tends to be full of cringe, honestly. They weren't bad songs, but I personally didn't like My Child, honestly. I don't know, I found that song to be fucking weird, honestly. I know it was about something having to do with David Dryman's wife having a miscarriage, and that fucking sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, it was just a weird song. I didn't like where the song was going, honestly. After The Animal, please forgive me on my yawning. I know I've been yawning a bit in this video. I'm just trying to talk about these songs. Only a little over half of the album is good. But after The Animal, the album starts to get boring, honestly. It was full of filler, and I wasn't interested in the last few songs. It just felt like the songs were sounding the same, honestly, and I didn't like that. So yeah, episode 14 I did for a review was Disturbed Asylum. Now, next album I'm gonna be talking about is Nick Jonas's self-titled album. This was not a bad album. It wasn't perfect, but not bad. Chains was good. Teacher and Levels. I actually enjoyed Levels a lot. Area Code, I wasn't a huge fan of. Um, what else? Teacher was good. I liked the beat to it. Jealous was really good. Heard that on the radio so many times. Numb was, it was fine. Push was fine. Avalanche was very good. I really enjoyed that song and many others. So yeah, there was like 21 tracks on the full self-titled album of Nick Jonas's self-titled album. It was his second album, I believe, but it didn't do so bad. So for what it went for, I quite enjoyed it. So at episode 15 I did was for Nick Jonas' self-titled album. I'm going to talk about one more album and then I'll return to you for part 2. For part 3, I meant to say. The next album I'm going to talk about is 21 Pilots' Trench re-review that I did. I wanted to make an actual re-review because the one I did back in 2018 was crap. And I rushed it a bit too fast. And I should have taken my time with that review. But Jumpsuit's one of my favorite songs. Morph was really good. Levitate I enjoyed. My Blood has grown on me, but not to the point where I really like it. And Smithereens was good. Or solid, I guess you could say. Chlorine I enjoyed. Neon Gravestones is one of my favorites. The Hype was very good. Nico and the Niners was good. Bandito was good. I think Legend was the last weakest song on the album, but I think 11 out of 14 songs did pretty good. So I gave it a good rating of an 8 out of 10, and I enjoyed Bandito a lot. So Leave the City was a nice way to end the album, to be honest. So yeah, it was a good note to end it at. So that's going to be it for part 2 of Tuesday Album Review Season 3 recap video. I will return to you for the last 3 episodes I'm going to talk about, and that'll be in part 3. So it won't be a very long one, but it might be a little lengthy because I got a few things to talk about in that video. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this Tuesday Album Review Season 3 recap video. For part 2. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you soon in part 3 of the Tuesday Album Reviews Season 3 recap video.